everyone, I'm Angelfire, and welcome back, explorers, to Tiny Tales, a series where I am sharing my stories that I have either written or am currently writing. Be sure to also look at the description below for all credits given. The story I plan to share today, or days, was actually inspired in part by the game Elder Scrolls Online, as well as the fact that I had a friend in that game that, um, well, we both played different character races. I played a wood elf, or Bosmer, and she played a Gajit, or cat person. But I'd call her Big Sis, and she'd call me Little Sis, or Baby Sis, or whatever. So we felt that there should be a background story, or why that it was. She had her own background story, and I had mine, so I kind of sort of combined them to make the story The Homecoming Fire. And, well, I will say this. Since the character races were not my creations, my descriptions are a little lacking in that area. So be prepared for a lot of Khajiit this, Khajiit that, or Bosmer, or whatever. Because, yeah, the story is more focused on the events of what happened instead of the descriptions of the characters and the scenery. So, yeah, there's all that. But before I start the story, I will also be sharing it on Tumblr in 3 parts. So, first part will be gathering. Second part will be tale. And the last part will be home. But that is more for if I wind up having to split this apart. Either way, the stories might last 10 minutes, 20 minutes, possibly 30. But, we'll just see if I have to do any, shall we say, splitting apart the story. Either way, just be aware this may be a one-time story, or it might be a 3-episode story. And before I begin the story, as I said before, I think it's about time for me to get dressed for the story, or change my appearance. Yeah, I'll be right back. Okay, so I think I'm about ready. Just give me one more second. And here we are. Oh, wow. Yeah, I took my time. But I think I am dressed and ready to read the story, The Homecoming Fire, which I based off a game and the background story and so on and so forth. But either way, let's begin the tale. The Homecoming Fire, by me of course, Part 1, Gathering. Deep in the Tenmore forest of Elsewhere, a fire crackled in the middle of a hidden Khajiit settlement. It was the home of a Khajiit band of mages called the Moonlit Paws. But now, a few more races also called this place home. Among the Khajiit villagers were a few Bosmer warriors and healers, and one archer, some orcs, an Argonian, and some Bretons. All of them, at one point or another, had been captured by the Dunmer, with the intent to sell them into slavery. Their wounds, at the time of being rescued, had been awful and some even life-threatening. Slowly, they gathered around what they had come to call the homecoming fire. They waited for the matriarch and leader of their settlement to arrive. A black-furred Khajiit woman approached the gathering, an agile Senchi leopard following closely by her side. She took a seat in front of the ones gathered. Her feline companion stretched, yawned, and lay down close by. This one is Mimidra. Khajiit say this for new faces Khajiit see around a homecoming fire. She paused as she then gazed into the fire. Khajiit wait for my cubs to return to this one. The Bosmer archer smiled and said quietly but loud enough for all to hear, "Clan-mother, your cubs will return to you as all of us here did." Her arms spread wide to include all who had been saved by the Moonlit Paws. Plus, they are very skilled in their chosen paths, and I'm sure they will be pleased to learn this is no longer a hidden camp. The archer grinned as she heard many cheers with her final statement. "This one is no clan-mother," Mimidra began, only to be interrupted by one of the orcs. "You are strong and lead well, and you can care deeply for those not like you," the orc craftsman declared. "This place needs you as clan-mother first, and we have all decided as much." The orcish male gave a toothy smile that disarmed many who were intent on arguing with him. "This one will accept what all have agreed on," Mimidra sighed, as her eldest cub entered the gathering. The young Khajiit healer mage leaned down and nuzzled her mother figure and took a seat near the leopard that lay nearby. The leopard gave a low purr and swished her tail back and forth. Mimidra gave a subtle smile as her youngest cub finally arrived, though she did so by sneaking up behind her mother and big sister, giving them both a family hug. "Baby sis, sit. Mama will tell stories, this one thinks," the Khajiit healer mage said with a playful purr. The youngest cub went to the seating beside her mother. As the Senshi leopard stretched and padded around the small adopted family. Now, this one's cubs have arrived. Khajiit will introduce them for those that are new. Mimidra paused as she waited for all eyes to be on her. The leopard had welcomed both the oldest and youngest cubs in the way a mother leopard would greet her own young. Some of the newer Bosmer were very confused, seeing and hearing a young Bosmer woman refer to any Khajiit as family. Let this one introduce her cubs. Mimidra smiled and placed a paw on each of her daughter's shoulders. To Mimidra's right is Helenikov, and to this one's left is Miniza the Swift. And as she said that, the sentry leopard laid her massive head on Mimidra's lap, her eyes looking up at the Khajiit mother. And this one is Mara, named so for how Mimidra found her and how she's behaved around my cubs. She laughed as the Khajiit clan mother loved up the leopard, the two giving each other slow blinks in the process. Mara gave a playful growl when Mimidra claimed her daughters as her cubs. The newcomers to the settlement were still unsure how the small family came to be. Not to sound rude, but you look nothing like your oldest daughter, and your youngest isn't even the same, well, you know, a Breton man said, only to have his head smacked by his wife. She smiled as she signaled that she would keep her husband silent. Menisa covered her mouth to stifle a giggle after seeing the antics of the Breton couple. Meanwhile, her older sister covered her muzzle with a clawed paw. I'm afraid I'm going to have to end this episode here and leave you all with this. If you have been enjoying my content, please feel free to leave a like and or subscribe. You can also leave a comment down below in the comment section. Be sure to hit that notification bell because YouTube doesn't always like to share. Be safe, be healthy, and as always, be true to you. Mena Angelfire, signing off.